well, like, so I'm up in the loft, the man cave, so to speak, of where my granddad used to spend an awful lot of his retirement years. He got really into these sort of collectibles called Forces of Valor. I'm not entirely sure how popular they are now, but they were quite expensive back in the day. And he initially started with a few sort of pasting tables. The absolute size of this now. Now, Forces of Valor, it was like collectibles. You got like Japanese soldiers, World War II stuff. They might actually have done more than just World War II. But that was kind of all that I remembered. World War II stuff. That's all I ever really purchased. You got like Japanese soldiers, British soldiers, American soldiers, German soldiers. There was probably others, but that's he predominantly bought American soldiers to begin with and German soldiers, and he started off with just 2 pasting tables. And over the years, this project blew up to the size. In terms of tables, this was as big as it got. A lot of it has been sold over the years since his passing. Like even for example, there's a wire, another wire. There's multiple wires over there. There's a few wires there. There's multiple planes that he built himself. But Forces of Valor, with like metal tanks, you know, collectibles. This is metal, obviously. Metal. Come over to the American side. There's not much left, as I say, but there's some metal and whatnot. But it's the detail that he went into. You know, and what he also started to do was take, remember the old toys that you used to get? Just wee plastic toys, like this dude here, for example, right? This guy, they were all green. It was just like a dark green colour, plastic dark green, from, you know, cap, face, skin, uniform, all green. And then you got the brown ones as well. You know, and they were just little tiny plastic soldiers for people to play with. Or kids to play with, I should fucking say. He painted all of them. He went into, like, great detail to paint all of them. So, you know, when he wasn't buying these expensive Forces of Valor soldiers, you know, models even, he was buying, no, he was painting, sorry, my old toys. I'll take a wee walk around it and I'll show you the sort of scale from what's left. Over in that corner there is probably the last part that's just been completely untouched. But it shows, it kind of helps to put it into context as to just how much detail and how much effort he put in over the years. And as I say, this was his project for years. All of these planes he built. All of these houses he made himself. All of the sort of, even things down to the fences he made himself, you know, power lines, and even all of the sort of details here, like these, for example, are missiles he made himself. They're missiles from my old toy collection that he repainted, you know. I mean, it's remarkable, really. He was very creative. You can't deny that. Now, back in the day, this was all jam-packed full of soldiers, and as I say, it was a combination of Forces of Valor soldiers. Here's another plane that he built. Forces of Valor soldiers, and soldiers that he'd painted from my collection of toys. A bridge that he made as he started to expand. Another house that he built, or a factory, sorry, that he built in this instance. That was a church that he'd built. You know. But this is this part here, this section here really helps to go a long way to showcase just how detailed it once upon a time was. Paper mache river, paper mache mountains, for fuck's sake. But look how many men, how many soldiers are here. And this is obviously where they're beginning to meet the Americans and the Nazis. Nazis are obviously, or the Germans, whatever, are on the left-hand side from how I'm recording right now, Americans on the right. But the amount of men are just in this tiny slither. Not even this section here, this is pretty bare now, but this bit here, the amount of men. All just from him up in his hike. Back in the days, wee man cave. So it's sad to see it starting to disappear now. Be sold off and whatnot. What can be sold off as. But to his credit, he always kept the boxes and whatnot. And some of them still remain here. I'll show you quickly. Some of the boxes still remain here. Forces of Valor, Forces of Valor, Forces of Valor, Forces of Valor, etc. You know, there's multiple boxes still that remain. Stuff that needs to be packaged back up. He kept the boxes for this purpose. I think he's a sort of... He personifies the generation of old. You know, deliberately leaving things in place for the future when he's no longer around us. It's, you know, a selfless generation. Yeah, decades. Not decades. Was it decades? Yeah, it probably was decades because it started off when I was in primary school. And he was doing it still when I'd finished high school, so yeah, probably maybe arguably almost 2 decades, if not 2 decades. You know, here's another example. Those like plane models and whatnot he built, but even stuff like this. Oh, it's a combination of like walls that he would get from the Force of Valor packs, but he'd like build his own roofs, etc. There's some of the there's more Force of Valor stuff there. Boxes. You know? German infantry. Let's see. US infantry. You know. This was his passion. So. Yeah. Anyway. Just thought I would share that. Peace.